Namaste, and welcome to Beginning Yoga. My name is Lisa Barrett. Joining me in the studio today are Lisa and Martin. Today's practice will introduce two back bends, Camel Pose and Bow Pose. Ustrasana and Dhanurasana really create a very flexible back, as well as opening the shoulders, chest, and front of the hips. So I hope you'll join us and roll out your mat. Let's get started. We're going to begin with two blocks. If you don't have blocks, a firm cardboard box, small box would work, maybe a book with rubber bands around it to keep it firm. So we're going to lie across the blocks, horizontally for the mid-back, right about the bra line, bottom tips of your shoulder blades. And then the other block is going to be placed under the back of your head for support. So take a moment to settle in, and then perhaps extend your legs forward. If you have low back issues, you might want to take the feet a little wider than hip width, and then allow the inner knees to touch so the legs prop each other up. Let your arms relax down, out to the side. And then soften your gaze for a moment and settle in across the blocks. Feel the shoulders opening and drawing down towards the floor. There might be some mild discomfort with this pose if your back is particularly stiff. Just try to deal with the discomfort by focusing on your breath. And allow the blocks to mold your back, to mold your body. Feel your chest beginning to open. And we'll take about 4 more breaths together. It's a nice pose to stay a little longer in, but we have a lot to cover. Full, deep inhales, long, controlled exhales. Let's take 2 more. And then staying on your blocks, with an inhale, sweep your arms out to the side and up and overhead. Maybe the backs of the fingers can graze the floor the whole way. And then exhale, sweep the arms out and down to your sides. Let's take 2 more. Deep inhale, feel the chest stretch, the shoulders stretch open. And a slow exhale, bring them all the way back down. And 1 more time, just like that. Inhaling overhead, take lots of space. And exhale, sweep them all the way back down. Coming off of your blocks, perhaps rolling to your side, or just propping yourself up on your elbows and forearms. And move the blocks out of the way. We will use them again, so keep them close. And then come back down onto your spine. Setting up for bridge pose. So placing the feet hip width apart, reaching down and brushing your heels with your fingertips. Turn the arms so the palms face up, relax the shoulders down. A full deep inhale and a slow exhale to settle in and lengthen the spine. At the bottom of the exhale, press into the feet. Begin to lift your hips on the inhale. And then interlace your fingers underneath you. Extend the arms towards your feet, knuckles reaching for the heels. Press into the inner edges of the feet and lift the hips. 1 more breath. And then keeping the arms reaching towards the front of your mat, keeping the head and neck in line, begin to walk your feet over to the right. And when you've reached your capacity, very slowly begin to lower the backside body onto your right arm, pinning the shoulder underneath you and stretching the chest as well as the shoulder. Take another breath. And then with your inhale, lift the hips back up and either heel toe or tiny steps back through center. Reset if you need to, and then take the feet over to the left. And then lowering down, just a couple breaths. And then with your inhale, lift up again and walk back to center. And lift the hips a little higher when you get there, and then release the interlace of your hands. Let your shoulders slide out laterally, and very slowly come down. And once you're down, draw the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg forward. Just taking a simple spinal twist here, right arm out to the side. Deep inhale, and exhale, guide the knee across the body and all the way down to the floor. Again, just a couple breaths. Twists tend to lengthen the spine, and we are looking for a lot of length today. And with your inhale, come all the way back onto your spine and switch sides. Left knee in, and right leg extends forward. Left arm out to the side, take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, guide the knee across the body, allowing the left shoulder to pop up, stretching the chest and the shoulder open. And with an inhale, come back onto your spine. And release the left foot to the floor, extend both legs, and then roll over onto your stomach. And we'll meet in Sphinx pose. Forearms out in front, elbows a little in front of the shoulders. Extend your legs back and press all 10 toenails down. Begin to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Press the shoulder blades into the back. Imagine you were still on your blocks. And then begin to pull your palms and forearms towards you as you root down through the pubic bone to keep your low back safe. Take one more breath here. And with your exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down. We'll move into locust pose. So bringing your forehead to the floor, extend your arms behind you and interlace the fingers. Again, make sure all 10 toenails are pressing down, pubic bone rooting down to keep the low back long and safe. And with an inhale, lift the fronts of your shoulder heads up off the floor. Exhaling here, and with your next inhale, lift the chest and neck and head. Reaching your knuckles back for your heels, opening up the chest. Last breath, if you want to lift the legs as well, feel free to do so, keeping the feet not wider than hip distance. Deep inhale. And exhale, lower all the way down. Bringing your hands under your shoulders, go ahead and press up to tabletop pose. I did promise more blocks, so go ahead and place them now near the front of your mat, and we'll put our hands, so blocks shoulder width apart. Knees are hip width apart, and probably putting them on their lowest rating. Yes, good. And we'll take some dog and cat stretches. So as you inhale, lift your chest, arch in the upper back, so extension, lift the sitting bones. And then exhale, draw the belly in and up and round the upper, mid, and low back. 2 more like that. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Come back to neutral. And if you can, extend your right leg back on the tops of your feet, so not on tucked toes this time. And then extend your left leg back. Lower the hips, lift the chest. Inhale, upward facing dog. Try to draw the shoulders back over the wrists. And with an exhale, draw the belly in and up. See if you can roll up and over your toes and make your way to downward facing dog. Spreading the toes, letting the heels descend, getting the spine nice and long. With your next inhale, lift your right leg up and back. And exhale, bend the knee and step all the way forward between your hands. Go ahead and bring the back knee down and then untuck the left toes. For here, you may want to lift your blocks to that mid-level of height. And then begin to sink into the right knee. Allow the left frontal hip area to open. And then see if you can put a little arch in the upper back. Keeping the knee roughly over the ankle. If it gets too far in front, it's a risk on the knee. Take one more breath. And then take your arms up and overhead. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, sweep the arms behind you, making a huge arm circle. Maybe the fingers can graze the floor. And one more like that. Inhale, take the arms up. And exhale, sweep them behind you. Inhale the arms back overhead, and then see if you can bend the left knee and reach back with your left hand. Right hand can come to your knee or to the block for support. And just draw the foot closer to the buttock. Good. Slowly release. Set your blocks back on the low level. Hands to the blocks, tuck your back toes, and make your way back to downward facing dog. And right away, inhale the left leg up and back. Bend the knees, step the foot forward in between your blocks and hands. Untuck the right toes as you lower the right knee down. Again, set your blocks up on that medium height, sinking into the left knee, allowing the front of your right hip to open. Smooth, deep breaths. And then putting that little arch in the upper back as you lift your chest. And with your next inhale, let's take the arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, sweep the arms behind you, making an enormous circle with the arms, opening up the chest and the shoulders. Inhale the arms up, and exhale, sweep them all the way back. Inhaling up, and then releasing the left hand perhaps to your block or knee. Reach back, bend the right knee, and see if you can bring the foot closer to your buttock. And then very gently release. Set the blocks back on their low level. And tuck your right toes. Step it back to downward facing dog. Slowly with your exhale, lower the knees down to the mat. Set your blocks off to the side. We will use them again, so not too far off. And go ahead and sit on your heels. From here, we'll take a little side stretch again to lengthen the spine, so right fingertips to the floor. Inhale your left arm overhead, and exhale, lean over to your right. Take the gaze where it's comfortable. Feel your left side waist lengthening. And then inhale all the way up. Exhale, move to the other side. Right arm reaches up and over to the left. And inhale all the way back up. Coming back through tabletop, we're going to make our way into puppy dog pose. So taking your knees to the back third of your mat, begin to walk your hands forward, taking the hands to the width of your mat, so wider. And maybe turning the hands out a little bit. Keeping the hips right over the knees, begin to melt your chest, forehead to the floor. And if that's not doing enough for the upper back, maybe bringing your chin to the floor, as long as you can breathe smoothly and deeply. Big arch in the upper back as the shoulder blades press in. And then walking the hands back in. From tabletop, we're going to come back down onto our belly and come back into Sphinx pose. So setting it up, legs extending back, forearms and palms pressing and pulling towards you. Shoulder blades absorbing into the back as the chest lifts. From here, we have an option to float off the elbows if you like. Staying with elbows down is perfectly fine. Maybe bending the knees and drawing the feet in towards the backs of your shoulders. Great, you guys. Take a deep inhale. It's a big hip opener. And exhale, come all the way down. Pressing up to tabletop pose. Let's lengthen the spine, tuck toes. Let's make our way into downward facing dog. And from here, let's walk the hands back to the feet and interlace the fingers behind. Extending the arms up towards the ceiling, rock the weight forward so there's weight in the toe mounds, and exhale, fold, bringing the arms up and overhead. One more breath. And then releasing the arms. Release the interlace. Walk your hands forward back to downward facing dog. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, lower the knees back down to the floor. And we're going to set up for a balance. So tucking right toes, extend the right leg straight back, keeping the hips level. And then lifting the right leg just to parallel with the floor. Heel is pointed up, toes are pointed down. Gazing in front of your fingertips, maybe at the front edge of your mat. See if you can extend your left arm forward. Do nothing but bend the right knee. And sweep the left arm back. See if you can find your foot, ankle. And if this is difficult, maybe use a strap or a belt. And then kick the foot into the hand. So it's like you're trying to straighten the right leg. Lift your chest. And with control, release the hold. Extend arm and leg. And slowly release. Good balancing. Let's take the other side. Tucking left toes, extend the left leg straight back. And then lifting the leg. Gazing forward, lifting your right arm. Try to draw your belly up, away from the floor. Bending the left knee. Reaching back with the right arm. Find the foot, ankle, whatever you can grab onto, or a belt, looped across your foot, and then lift up. And slowly extend the arm and the leg. And then release. Tucking your toes, make your way back to downward facing dog. Just to lengthen out the spine. Deep inhale. And exhale, lower the knees down. Find your blocks again. And this time we're going to come to kneeling. Knees will be hip width apart. Place the blocks back by your ankles on their highest height. Yes, and absolutely pad your knees. Martin's doing a great job. Knees can be very risky on the floor. These mats are sometimes slim and the floor is hard. So let's tuck toes. Taking your hands to the iliac crest, so that's the very top rim of your pelvis. Fingers pointing down, press the flesh down. Draw the shoulders down and then take the shoulders back as you try to squeeze the elbows together. Keep pressing the flesh down and then begin to lift your chest. Maybe taking the gaze up. And if your neck is sensitive, just let the chin rest towards the chest. Feel the upper back arch, not so much the lower back. And with an inhale, come all the way up. Good, let's move a little deeper. Taking the tops of the feet to the floor now. So toenails on the floor. See if you can take your right hand to your block, and you might have to move it a little bit. Sweep your left arm up overhead. And then turn the chest to face the front of the mat and reach the left arm behind you. Leading with the chest, come all the way back up. Excellent, it's a big back bend. Let's move to the other side, left hand to the block. Right arm reaches up. And then rotate the chest to face forward and take it a little upper back bend. Good. And then maybe that right arm can sweep behind you and find the block underneath your right ankle. So both hands on blocks. And then coming all the way back up. Go ahead and move your blocks out of the way. That's Ustrasana pose, camel pose. And then placing your hands back on the floor, tabletop, walk your knees back if you need to, and come back down onto your belly. Come back into Sphinx. Feeling the pubic bone root down, legs extending back, palms and forearms pulling towards you. We're going to turn the left forearm to be parallel with the front of your mat. Try to keep that left shoulder stable. And then bend the right knee. Again, see if you can reach back and grab the foot. If not, use a strap or a belt across the foot. From here, kick the foot into the hand, like you're trying to straighten the right leg. Keep rooting through the pubic bone. This is a great pose right here. If you'd like to move a little deeper, you can extend the left arm forward and then lift both thighs off the floor as you kick the right foot into the hand. Half bow pose, Ardha Dhanurasana. And very slowly release. Well done. Let's move to the other side. Back to Sphinx. And then right forearm comes across. Bending left knee, reaching back for the foot or the ankle. Rooting down to the pubic bone. Keep that low back safe. Stay here, or maybe lifting. Reaching the right arm forward. Kicking the foot into the hand. Deep inhale. And exhale, release. Go ahead and lower your chest onto the floor. Forehead to the floor. And then bend both knees. Reaching back, see if you can grab both ankles or feet. Again, root down through the pubic bone. Let the shoulder heads begin to come off the floor. And as you kick the feet into the hands like you're trying to straighten your legs, start to lift the chest. The last little bit is lifting the thighs higher off of the floor. Great. Deep inhale. Exhale, release all the way down. Just a breath. We'll take one more. So setting it up again, bending the knees, and notice which ankle you grabbed first the last time. See if you can grab the other one first so you don't set up a bad habit. Good. Forehead to the floor. Inhale, lift the shoulder heads up away. Root the pubic bone down, and then kick the feet into the hands to lift the chest. And then lift the thighs. Deep inhale. Good. And then we're going to rock over to the side. Let's go to the right side first. Little tricky. You can stay in just plain bow pose. Very playful. Deep inhale here. And then see if you can come all the way back to center with control. And then rolling over to the left. Finding that stira and sukha, steadiness and ease, coming all the way back to center, lifting up, and slowly release all the way down. Extend the legs, and go ahead and come back onto your spine. Finding a block, just one, setting up for bridge pose. Pressing into the feet, lift the hips. Place your block at its lowest level, right under your sacrum. So it's that flat, triangular, fused together group of bones near the base of your spine. So a supported bridge, just let the backside body relax onto the block. And there should be a slight lengthening of the low back, which should feel really good. Take a few breaths here. And then if you like, extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. You might want to rotate your arms so the palms are down. You might feel a little more stable that way. And then take the left leg up as well. Again, you should feel a lengthening of the low back, not a compression. So feel free to adjust your block if that is the latter is the case. Let's take about 2 or 3 more breaths. It's a nice pose for good venous return, for draining toxins from the lower extremities, especially if you sit a lot, working at a desk, driving a lot. And taking one more breath. And one at a time, bending the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the floor. Slowly lift up the hips and remove the block and set it off to the side, lowering your backside body down onto the mat. Separate your feet wide to the width of your mat. Take your arms overhead and just windshield wiper the legs side to side. Again, unwinding the low back. Even though these poses are designed for arching in the upper back, the low back just tends to get involved, so we want to stretch it back out. And then coming back to center, extend your legs forward and roll back over onto your stomach. Placing your hands under your shoulders, press all the way up to tabletop. And then bringing your inner edges of knees together, come into a child's pose, just for a couple breaths. With the inner knees together, again, it stretches the low back nice and long. And then bringing your hands next to your outer knees, tucking your chin into your chest, keeping your sitting bones heavy on the heels. With a rounded spine, slowly come all the way up to seated. Bringing your hands in front of your heart center, closing your eyes for a moment. Taking this time for reflection and gratitude for your practice. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us. I hope you'll watch again soon. Bidding you peace. Namaste.